One day before submitting my graduation project, I withdrew and destroyed it, burning all the finished works. As soon as I finished, the campus beauty from my major immediately knelt down, begging me not to be so willful. But I insisted on dropping out. In my past life, during the graduation exhibition, my work was identical to hers, even the design concept was word for word the same as mine. Yet hers was witnessed by our mentor and entered into the database 7 days before mine. She tearfully accused me of plagiarism and even threatened to call the police. The principal, to protect the school's reputation, forced me to issue a public apology, stripped me of all my honors, and expelled me. Meanwhile, my boyfriend, seeking revenge for the school beauty, publicly exposed all my personal information and even posted our intimate photos on the dark web. Relentless waves of insults engulfed me. Obscene and vicious language suffocated me. In a daze, I climbed to the top of a tall building and leaped. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day I finished designing my artwork. I gazed at my design drafts, my emotions unable to calm for a long time. Wasn't I supposed to be dead? Just then, my phone suddenly rang. It was Reina's. Suppressing the hatred in my heart, I answered the call. But the voice on the other end was unmistakably male, one I knew all too well. Yvonne, my phone died, and I happened to run into Reina. She asked me to check if you've finished your graduation project design yet. Hearing this, my breath grew erratic, and I couldn't stop my body from trembling. It was none other than my boyfriend, Brian. His words were a bit off, but in my previous life, I didn't pay any attention and happily shared my achievements with him. Only now do I realize he was probably working with Reina all along. I pretended to be helpless and said, "Not yet, I'm running low on inspiration." After hanging up the phone, I felt a chill. In my past life, the online witch hunt was brought upon me by my most trusted boyfriend. He accused me of copying Reina and posted about me online. I was universally condemned, threatened at my doorstep, and too terrified to leave my room, almost starving to death out of fear. Yet he still didn't let me go. He publicly shared our intimate photos and personal information. Many lecherous men came looking for me because of it. Thinking of this, my entire body shuddered. Fortunately, it's all in the past now. I never plagiarized in the first place, and this time, I won't let them hurt me again. I calmed myself and opened Reina's social media feed, which showcased a few of her design works. They weren't ugly, but they weren't impressive either. None of them had any standout features. Just as I was about to exit, I noticed she had posted again. The image had already loaded, but before I could even click on it, a chill ran down my spine. The image she posted looks all too familiar. It's exactly the same as the work I just finished. I took another look at the caption, finally done with the design draft. So exhausted. This draft is noticeably different from her usual designs, packed with brilliant highlights. I zoomed in on the photo to compare it with my design draft and was shocked to find not a single difference, down to a tiny dot in the bottom left corner. Exit the photo, and her post already has numerous comments underneath. Wow, this is pro-level work. Are you trying to leave no room for others to compete? Reina, aren't you afraid I might steal it? Alright. To be honest, even if I wanted to steal, I couldn't. You're not some hidden powerhouse, are you? That's amazing. With a click, the dorm door opened. I shoved the designs into a corner where no one could see them. One of my roommates walked in, and seeing my frustrated expression, she seemed to have found someone to vent to. Yvonne, have you seen Reina's social media? Her designs are incredible, even though they used to be worse than mine. In my previous life, I didn't truly listen to her accusations, merely offering a few perfunctory responses in a hurry to take the designs and turn them into physical products. Only now do I understand why I was accused of plagiarism back then, and why none of my roommates stood by me. It turns out, it was already too late for me. Reina? I feigned confusion, pretending to be eager to hear what she had to say. Hearing my response, my roommate happily pulled her chair closer to mine. She opened the social media post that I had already memorized by heart, one I would never forget for the rest of my life. Look, just these sketches alone make me imagine how amazing it would look. If you actually produce it, it'll be legendary. She chatted warmly with me, but I couldn't listen at all, my heart aching in waves. Can I really never escape this in this lifetime? My roommate seemed to have noticed something again, completely unfazed by my silence. But, don't you think her idea of using gardenias is very similar to your design preferences? I was taken aback and looked at the black and white sketched gardenia. That deep sorrow vanished in an instant as an idea suddenly struck me. I stared at my roommate, pondered for a long while, and finally made up my mind. Holly, if I told you her design draft is identical to mine, would you believe me? What? Her evident surprise reassured me, and I decided to continue. I had just finished drawing it when she posted this photo on her social media minutes later. At first, I thought I must have been mistaken, but you showed me the same post, so I wasn't wrong. Seeing she still hadn't fully processed it, I pulled out that stack of papers. On top was my design draft, an exact match to the one Raina had posted. Holly's jaw dropped in shock, speechless as she glanced at what was in her hand, then at the draft in mine. It's been 10 minutes since Raina posted on her social media, but there's no way I could have drawn an identical piece in that time, especially since Holly returned to the dorm even earlier. She processed it quickly, looking at the social media post with disdain and saying, I knew there's no way she could draw this well, it's stolen. But how did she get yours? I don't know, but this just doesn't make sense. She suddenly thought of something and looked at me, asking, but what about you? If you can't clear your name, you'll really be convicted. My gaze remained fixed on Holly, her concern and anxiety didn't seem fake. I closed my eyes, feeling a pang of reluctance, but still made up my mind. I tore several sheets of paper in half, then again, and again, each rip fueled by my frustration and anger. The moment I tossed them into the trash, I smirked. If there's no way forward on this path, then I'll take another. After suppressing my emotions all afternoon, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief, as if I had found a new way out. Holly picked up the pieces that had fallen beside the trash can, looking even more distressed than I was. I actually really wanted to see the finished product. Ding, 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 Holly's phone rang. It was the alarm she had set. She had a part-time job to get to, so after a hurried goodbye, she left the dorm. Once again, I was alone. Even though so much had happened by now that I just wanted to rest, it wasn't until I lay down on the soft bed that I truly felt the reality of having been reborn. I want to sleep, but as I close my eyes, a bad feeling rises from the depths of my heart. I think of my boyfriend, Brian. Why did he call me using Raina's phone right when I finished my design drafts? Why did he reveal his disgust toward me only when I needed help the most? In my past life, he even joined the rumor-spreading crowd. He claimed all my works were plagiarized and that he had long been unable to tolerate it, finding me utterly revolting. I thought it was just him who found me disgusting, but that phone call planted doubt in my mind. Could Brian and Raina have been secretly together behind my back all along? I looked through all of Brian and Raina's social media posts with skepticism. Finally, I found a post from Raina 6 months ago, a photo of her holding hands with a man. There was barely visible a cake in front of him. Though the cake in the picture was blurred, I recognized it. Brian had posted the exact same cake on his social media feed. Back then, I had asked him why he was eating cake. His only reply was, a friend's birthday, just keeping them company. Sure enough, when I checked Brian's social media again, he had posted a photo of that cake on the same day. My boyfriend had already been with Raina, and it took me a second life to realize it. I wasn't particularly heartbroken. The pain from my past life had long turned into resentment toward Brian, and now I didn't even want to speak to him. I opened our chat window, typed "let's break up," and promptly blocked and deleted all his contact information. After that, it felt like a weight had finally been lifted. I fell into a deep sleep and woke up to find it dark outside. Everyone in the dorm had already returned. Yet I wasn't woken by the noise and managed to sleep soundly. I must have been truly exhausted. I got up and climbed out of bed. Holly saw I was awake and immediately rushed over, pulling me aside to whisper in my ear. "How could you sleep until now? Listen, your boyfriend called me asking why I suddenly broke up with him. Why did you two break up?" And I quickly interrupted her. This chatterbox kept bombarding me with questions without giving me a chance to answer. Now I've got Holly on my side, but I still don't dare to trust her completely. So for now, I'll just avoid answering her questions. "Did you tell anyone about me?" With a proud look, she said, "How could I possibly spill something this big? This is the first time I've gotten major gossip and not shared it. And even though you didn't tell me to keep it a secret, I still did so voluntarily." I let out a sigh of relief. Then I answered each of her questions one by one. Learning that Raina and Brian were already together left her so shocked she couldn't even speak. "I'm not worried about Brian coming after me. The girls' dormitory doesn't let men set foot inside. I must draw a clear line with these two despicable individuals. The top priority now is to create a new graduation project. This requires me to find inspiration. If I can't prove I'm not a plagiarist, then I'll abandon this design." Perhaps in my past life, Raina relied on Brian to steal my design and even unveiled it before I finished, avoiding suspicion. With no classes these days, I've been searching for inspiration outside, terrified of falling behind. Since I dislike being disturbed while working, I blocked everyone. For several consecutive days, I didn't return to the dorm but wandered outside. Then, one day, I lay on the hotel bed as usual, closing my eyes to reflect. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration crossed my mind. I quickly got up, rushed to the desk, took out fresh paper and a pen, and began tracing the inspiration in my mind stroke by stroke onto the paper. A long time passed until the last ray of the setting sun cast its light on the draft. Finally, I slowly put down the pen, and all my stress vanished at once. Gazing at the vibrant crimson on the unfinished part of the clothing design, my mood lifted. I laughed on the floor for a long time, then burst into tears. Could I finally be free? This painting is different from all my previous works. I don't like fashion design and prefer accessory design, not just because there are too many fashion designers, but more because it rarely captures the image I want to convey. This is a completely different me, a reborn me. That touch of crimson is the same color that slowly flowed from my wrist in the final moments of my past life. Breaking the old self, embracing new life. I ran to every tailor shop nearby, sewing the dress in my mind bit by bit. Back at the hotel, I finally let go of everything. I thought avoiding my past life's designs would be enough. But I didn't expect that when I opened my phone and scrolled through Raina's social media, I fell silent once again. She immediately spotted the familiar red in the first post. A chilling sensation, as if I'd been thrown into an ice cellar, surged through my entire body. I struggled to calm my emotions. It took me a while before I carefully opened her social media feed to examine it closely. The newly posted content was indeed my design drafts and the garments I had poured my heart into creating, yet again, the exact same designs and my outfits. Once more, they were released ahead of me without my knowledge. How could this be? For this creation I had avoided involving anyone. So why did it still end up like this? I pressed the screen hard, my fury and frustration erupting as I deleted Raina's account. Was I doomed to never escape being accused of plagiarism, ultimately driven to despair and suicide? The previous social media post shared a photo of a torn design draft, captioned, "Someone tore up my design draft." Within hours, that post had already received numerous likes and comments. It was posted one day after my first work was shared. Then came a new post, captioned, "Feeling a bit sad, but I won't be discouraged, a new piece is ready." These 3 posts were even screenshotted and shared on the campus forum. The thread quickly shot to the top spot within minutes, with many praising Raina's work and spirit. Oh my god, this work can be called a masterpiece, right? Can't believe how beautiful the person wearing it would be. Whose lifetime? Mine. Such people are disgusting, way too jealous. The previous work was such a pity. Master, please guide me. Some people specifically started a poll comparing me with Raina. My work wins awards every time, and schoolmates jokingly call me a pioneer of the times. Meanwhile, Reina used to be an unknown nobody. Yet now she's being compared to me using my own work, and it makes me sick. I came up with an idea. I created a fake account and reached out to Reina. I wanted to figure out what was going on. She quickly accepted my request. I pretended that I saw her work on the school forum, thought it was amazing, and got her contact details through a friend. I asked her about her creative inspiration and why these recent designs differed so greatly from her previous style. I was eager to hear how she would respond to my questions. After waiting for a long time without a reply, I felt somewhat reassured. She didn't dare to answer. Before I could fully calm down, my phone suddenly rang. Someone was calling me. I glanced at the caller ID, Holly. A bad premonition instantly rose in my heart. I slowly answered, and her voice was filled with concern and urgency. Yvonne, check the school forum quick. Reina seems to be spreading rumors that you threatened her and stole her work. I couldn't believe it and switched back to the forum I was just on. The first post was Reina's clarification. Hello everyone. I'm Reina. First, let me explain a question someone asked. The accompanying image was exactly the question I had asked Reina using my alternate account. The inspiration for the clothes came from myself. The following words answered the second question. Actually, the previous designs weren't my own. Someone threatened me. I don't dare to reveal who it is right now, but she's very famous at school, and all her designs are actually mine. The reason I'm speaking up now is because I want to be true to myself. I've abandoned my old works. That's why I named this piece Breaking the Self, Gaining New Life, which is also my inspiration. Thank you all for your love and support. The comments below were also buzzing with activity, with many people particularly interested in the aspect of being threatened. They eagerly speculated about who might have snatched Reina's design. Some even pointed fingers at me. As a result, more and more people began discussing whether it was me. Don't you think that destroyed piece looks a lot like Yvonne, the pioneer of the times? Now that you mention it, I see it too. Many of her works have that signature touch of gardenia flowers. The language of gardenias represents forbearance, isn't that just Reina? If all the works truly belong to Reina, I can't imagine how much recognition she's lost. Your analytical skills are insane. Grabbing popcorn for this drama. I feel like I've returned to my past life, where everything I did only added bricks to the evidence of my sins. I packed my belongings and checked out. Back at school, many people who saw me whispered to their companions when they spotted me. It was the same in my past life, though fewer are doing it now. Instead of going straight to the classroom, I went to the counselor's office and explained my situation to him. When did you start feeling you had depression? Yesterday. The counselor fell silent. I'll take you to the psychological counselor for an evaluation. If you pass, you can take a leave of absence from school. Looking at the same counseling room as in my previous life, I felt an overwhelming sense of hopelessness that nothing could be changed. But the fact that I'd come here now had already altered so much. The psychological counselor asked me a series of questions, including, what experiences have contributed to your suicidal tendencies? I told her it was because Reina stole my designs and that my boyfriend cheated on me with Reina. The counselor looked shocked, scribbled something on her notepad, and then handed me a form to fill out. Drawing on memories from my previous life, I filled out the form. Unsurprisingly, my application was approved. So I took a leave of absence for half a year, temporarily exempt from submitting my graduation project. I walked out of the counseling office and laughed out loud. Taking a leave of absence for psychological issues isn't easy to arrange, especially since I had already suffered from depression in my previous life. So if I destroy all my work, what will Reina use to graduate? Unless Reina gets into a car accident and ends up half crippled, I doubt she'll be able to produce anything. That day at noon, I realized something was off. Why was it that the day after I tore up my design drafts, hers were maliciously destroyed by someone else? If it's not a coincidence, then it's that whatever I have, she has, and whatever I don't have, she doesn't either. Next time, I must turn the tables. Reina, your good fortune is yet to come. I edited a post on the campus forum. Sorry to waste everyone's time, but I must clarify. First, I never threatened Reina into giving me her designs. My work is entirely my own. Second, this incident has severely affected my life, causing psychological issues that forced me to take a leave of absence. Lastly, I advise everyone not to jump to conclusions before everything is settled. My clarification quickly rose to the top, and the comments flooded in, most of them mocking. Is this fear driving you to run away? First time seeing someone burn their own bridges. If there's no threat, why not release the evidence? You don't have any, do you? Confirmed, this school's got major drama. My words, intended as clarification, came off more as shirking responsibility, making my guilt even more indisputable. Reading the comments, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. I knew this would be the outcome. Many were defending Reina, scoffing at my so-called explanation. I headed straight back to the dorm. When I opened the door, only Holly was inside, on a phone call. Spotting me, she quickly said something to the person on the other end and hung up in a hurry. Yvonne, that piece is yours, isn't it? I nodded without speaking. I didn't know how Holly saw me, but no matter how you looked at it, my actions proved I was on the side of villains. I couldn't help but feel ashamed in front of her. Aren't you on a break from school now? Take some time to come with me to my grandma's house. You might be cursed, and my grandma has a way to break it. I was stunned, I hadn't considered that possibility. Seeing my confusion, she cut straight to the point, trust me, my grandma can definitely help. Just treat it as a trip. I followed Holly to her hometown. Her grandma's house was at the edge of the mountains, and the journey there was long, but the surrounding landscape was beautiful. The scenery along the way made me forget the worries of the past few days, giving me a renewed sense of peace. Holly had told her grandmother she'd be coming home today, and the elderly woman had been waiting by the door even earlier. Grandma. Holly's grandmother happily ushered us inside. After exchanging a few pleasantries, Holly quickly got to the point. Grandma, do you remember when I told you about my roommate's things mysteriously appearing with other people, and you said it might be a curse? After Holly finished speaking, her grandmother nodded and then gave me a deep look. You must be Yvonne, right? I nodded politely. She stood up and gestured for me to follow her. I trailed behind her to a small room. The moment she opened the door, I was shocked. Inside were many ritual implements I had only seen in TV dramas, along with others I had never encountered before. I can see your past. Her opening words startled me, so I cautiously asked, actually, I have a past, I didn't survive it. She smiled and said, slit the wrist. I finally believed it, Holly's grandmother could truly help. So I followed her instructions and slowly broke my own curse. After succeeding, I knelt to apologize to her. She quickly helped me up and said, if you want to thank anyone, thank my Holly. So I told Holly about my experiences, my rebirth. Though shocked and a little heartbroken, Holly listened. She patted me on the back and said, it's okay. I'm glad you told me. Looking at her smiling face, I couldn't help but shed tears. I didn't know how to repay them, but Holly said, just come visit my grandma more often. She's alone at home and doesn't have many people to talk to. Whether it's you or me, she's happy when we visit her, and so am I. I nodded deeply and gave Holly a tight hug. Since I was on leave from school, I didn't need to worry about time, but Holly had classes and rushed back to school after staying for just 2 days. I returned home as well, and before leaving, I told Grandma I'd visit her often. Over those 2 days, I explained the situation to my parents. Though they were worried about me, there wasn't much they could do, so they let me be. To thank Holly, I treated her to a meal and offered a lot of suggestions for her graduation project, which made her very happy. After that, I spent my days at home casually watching shows and browsing videos, living a carefree and comfortable life. I glanced at the date and suddenly realized there were only 2 days left to submit my graduation project. Then something occurred to me, what Grandma told me that day. Your curse is to give beneficiaries what they want from you. But once the curse is lifted, what they obtained will backfire, bringing them immense trouble. The premise is that you must destroy it. I gathered the clothing design sketches, planning to burn them tomorrow. A rapid knocking at the door interrupted my thoughts. It didn't sound like my parents. I approached the door and peered through the peephole, a man and a woman. Both were familiar faces, Brian and Raina. I had no reservations as I opened the door, curious to see what tricks this despicable pair had up their sleeves. Brian, seeing the door open, immediately shielded Raina behind him and roared at me, "Yvonne! How can you be so jealous of others' success? It was clearly you who threatened Raina into giving it to you, and now you've ruined her?" I calmly asked, "How did I ruin her?" "That torn-up design copied elements from a renowned domestic designer. If it weren't for you, how could Raina be facing a legal notice now? Go and admit it was you who demanded it. Take all the responsibility, and we'll forgive you." It suddenly dawned on me that one element of that design was actually borrowed from my cousin. And my cousin happens to be that well-known domestic designer. I watched as Raina glared at me with hatred, and I couldn't help but find it amusing. She was the one who stole my design, yet when problems arose, she expected me to take responsibility, and all with a condescending tone. "Fine, but Raina, why don't you just clarify that you cursed me and admit the design is mine?" I looked at her with a faint smile, and her face instantly turned pale. "Yvonne! What nonsense are you talking about? Stop playing dumb with me." Brian's anger burned even fiercer, as if he wanted to kill me. Seeing them like this, I felt quite pleased. "If you don't appreciate my methods, then find someone else who can do better." Ignoring Brian's curses, she directly shut the door. But Brian wouldn't give up. He banged on the door loudly, yelling for her to open it, even throwing in a few swear words. It wasn't until the neighbors couldn't take it anymore and told them to quiet down that they finally left. I opened the school forum to see what was going on. I didn't expect to be shocked by what I found. For 2 consecutive days, they had been discussing Raina plagiarizing the works of a renowned designer. There were even thousands of comments in the discussion. And Raina's clarification only made the plagiarism seem more evident. I didn't copy anyone else's design. This design was requested by Yvonne for me to create for her. I had no idea it involved plagiarism, so this counts as Yvonne copying. Do you think I'm stupid? This melon is so juicy, can still get big ones these days. No, earlier you said Yvonne threatened you, now you're saying Yvonne demanded it. Aren't you just passing the buck? How has this person survived till now? Genuinely curious. If it were my design, naturally there wouldn't be a lawyer's letter, but this design has been stolen by Raina now. I think this is the backlash Raina deserves. Then I burst out laughing. Don't worry, Raina, the best is yet to come. Raina had no solution, so she kept having Brian call me to try and pin the blame on me. The first and second times, I answered the phone, curious to hear what excuses he could come up with. All he did was blame me and hurl insults. I rolled my eyes. How could I have ever liked someone like that? Thankfully, Raina, who clearly has no standards, took him. After blocking Brian, the world suddenly became much quieter. Tomorrow is the deadline for design students to submit their work. I hurried out the door, found an open space, and destroyed all the clothes I had designed along with the design drafts. I didn't feel regretful because I had photos and could recreate them, but would Raina do the same? I leisurely returned home, planning to watch Raina's scandal tomorrow. But what I didn't expect was that Raina came straight to my doorstep to find me. I can't help but marvel at the speed. As soon as I finished burning them, they came knocking right away. Facing this unexpected visitor, I said with a mocking tone, "Why aren't you sorting out your designs? What brings you here instead?" Raina quickly turned around upon hearing my voice, her expression filled with urgency. She tugged at my clothes and pleaded desperately, "I'm sorry, Yvonne. This is my fault. Could you remake the clothes? I'm begging you." I'll do anything you want. I looked at her meaningfully and scoffed. Nevertheless, I replied, sure. She immediately grew excited and thanked me profusely. But my next words left her frozen in place. Go admit that you stole my work, and then drop out. Reina obviously wouldn't do it. As she left, she even threw a threat at me, just wait, Yvonne. If I stole from you once, I can steal from you again. I was genuinely a little scared. But what work do I even have left for her to steal now? Still, I couldn't shake off the unease, so I called Holly to ask for my grandmother's phone number. Once I got through to Grandma, I told her what happened today. She assured me there was nothing to worry about, nothing would happen to me now that she had cast her protective spell. Feeling reassured, I decided to wait and see what tricks Reina would pull next. On the day of presenting my graduation project, I went to school. Each student drew lots to present their work in turn, introducing their inspiration and unique features, with 10 supervisors giving comprehensive scores. I was wearing a mask and glasses, but some people still recognized me. 2 of them cautiously approached me, bowed, and expressed that they shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. Now public opinion has shifted, and some have begun to apologize to me. They were among those who came forward to do so. I responded with a forgiving gesture, saying it didn't matter. No one criticizes me anymore. Many have added my contact details to apologize. I've forgiven them all, and my reputation has started to improve in a positive direction. Many people had gone before, and when it finally came to Reina, I couldn't help but wonder what she would present. As she brought out the clothes, I couldn't hold back a laugh. The garment she made didn't fully capture the distinctive features of the design at all. And that vibrant crimson had been changed to a pale pink, greatly diminishing the garment's appeal. I watched with amusement as she fidgeted nervously, her face pale. After waiting for a long time with no response from her, the judge finally asked, Miss Reina, what inspired your design? And what are the defining features of this garment? Reina seemed to have finally made up her mind and spoke tremblingly. It was inspired by myself. Because of the hardships I faced as a child, I had little hope, but designing gave me new hope. That's why I created this outfit. She had only spoken halfway when murmurs erupted from the audience below. I caught a few snippets. Wasn't the inspiration from her standing up bravely despite being threatened? Yeah, didn't you notice the outfit is also different from what we saw on our phones? Could it really be her stealing from Yvonne? This time the accusations were directed at Reina, who finally broke down in tears, unable to control her emotions anymore. She hastily excused herself to the judges, saying she needed to use the restroom, then fled like she was escaping. I followed her to the restroom. When she saw me, it was as if she had grabbed onto her last strand of hope. She pleaded with me desperately. Yvonne, please, help me. I was really wrong, I shouldn't have cursed you. If you let me pass my graduation project, I'll do anything you want. I'm not someone with strong compassion, and seeing her like this, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. I took out my phone and tapped it. Reina, last time I forgot to record, so I couldn't reveal the truth. This time I didn't forget. Her originally pale face seemed to lose all color, and she knelt on the ground, unable to utter a word. I returned to the place where the graduation designs were being displayed. Stepping onto the stage, I first greeted everyone. Hello everyone, I'm Yvonne. You might be wondering why I'm here. Let me clarify, I'm not here to present any designs, I'm here to set the record straight about myself. Then, I opened a recording on my phone and placed it near the microphone. Reina's voice echoed through the room. Yvonne, please, I'm begging you. Help me out. I was wrong, I shouldn't have cursed you. If you let me pass the graduation project, I'll do anything you ask. After the recording played, murmurs filled the room, uninterrupted. I continued, though it sounds absurd and I find it hard to believe, Reina stole my work, accused me of threatening her into providing designs, and deceived everyone. I did nothing wrong. The work I painstakingly created was stolen by her, and now she's begging me to help her. After this, those who had criticized me on the school forum came forward to apologize. The backlash against Reina was even worse. She failed her graduation project. Even more severely, she was sentenced to 3 years in prison for slandering a classmate and stealing intellectual property. During the police interrogation, she pleaded for my forgiveness. Silently, I said to her, "Do you deserve it?" Brian apologized to me and begged to get back together. I looked at him with disdain, left without even exchanging a few words. Whenever I had time, I would visit Grandma with Holly, and Grandma was always delighted. After graduation, my talent was recognized by a company, and they poached me. Thus began a new chapter of my life. Those 2 designs of mine, now improved, were reintroduced and became fashion must-haves.